What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I have the keys to this 2022 Cadillac CT4V Blackwing. This is an ultra performance oriented sports sedan. We're gonna have some fun in today's video, taking a full look inside and out, and then maybe doing a little bit of launch control in the test drive. And the model that we're looking at today is finished off in electric blue, is equipped with the Carbon Package 1, and has an MSRP at $76,500. Underneath the hood of the CT4V Blackwing, you're going to find a 3.6 liter twin turbocharged 6-cylinder engine. This twin turbo V6 pumps out 472 horsepower with 445 pound-feet of torque. It's paired either to a 10-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual transmission. In this particular case, it sends all the power to the rear wheels. All-wheel drive is available. And with a curb weight around 3,900 pounds for the automatic, you can expect 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds with a top speed at 189 miles per hour. And then all running on a 17-gallon fuel tank, you're looking at 15 miles per gallon in the city with 23 out on the highway. The overall length is 187.6 inches with wheelbase at 109.3. Width is 71.4 and height is 56 inches. This Blackwing also features a set of Brembo brakes in all four corners. We get 4-piston calipers in back with 6-piston calipers up front, and then 2-piece ventilated rotors. And then moving on to the exterior styling with this CT4 Blackwing, this exterior color is absolutely stunning in the daylight, along with all the gloss black and carbon fiber. We get a huge set of LED headlights, and you can see how the DRLs run from the top part and they go all the way down towards the bottom. It's a very unique design, super aggressive. We get LED projector beams with some chrome and black housings, and then taking a look towards the center, we get a blacked out grille. The Cadillac logo is right front and center, and you can see how the mesh even mimics that Cadillac logo with that V shape. I really love how they've integrated these little touches of style all around. We get an aggressive corner on this front bumper, and you can even see some gloss black trim with an opening to allow cooling to one of the radiators, and it even flows down towards the lower side of the bumper for even more openings. Part of the carbon package is this massive front splitter and carbon fiber canards. You can see how the splitter protrudes forwards a few inches, and it really looks nice and sharp. The lower grille also features even more mesh to allow a ton of cooling to this turbocharged engine, and we get a ton of parking sensors all up front. The front end really comes together very well with a ton of sharp lines to add to the style. And then moving towards the hood, you can see even more sharp body lines going all the way towards the windshield to add to this aggressive style. The hood has a really good look wrapping around to the fenders. And then if we move our way to the side profile, we get a multi-spoke wheel finished off in a two-tone color. You can see the polished silver as well as this gunmetal gray. They're 18 inches in diameter, and we even get a dark blue color for the brake calipers that contrast really nicely to the lighter blue paintwork. We get a gloss black air vent on the back side of the front fender to relieve some of the pressure built up in the front fender. And then you're going to see a really sharp body line running from the headlight all the way through the side profile and into the taillight. I really like all the sharp lines. The lower portion of those doors even have more sharp body lines, and you can see a gloss black trim piece for the side skirt. You get a V badge up front, and then we get a set of body colored door handles and body colored mirror caps. We get an LED turn signal all integrated to the bottom, and then gloss black trim running around all of the windows to blend all of the glass seamless. You can see the blue up top for the roof and shark fin antenna. And then moving our way to the side profile, I really like how proportional this Cadillac is. Has really good lines all around, making it look very sporty. And then moving towards the rear end, you can see how the front and rear fender arches bulge outward to give it that extra style. Really does a good job making the car look wide. We get a massive carbon fiber ducktail spoiler, all part of that carbon package. You can see the nice glossy weave and a really sharp look. It fits super nicely on the trunk and certainly adds to the cool design. And then we get a set of LED taillights, very similar to the headlights, how they're very large, spanning from the bodywork all the way into the rear end with a little bit of chrome. We get your CT4 badge over on the left side with a backup camera and Cadillac logo right in the center, and then the V emblem is over on the right. The trunk dips all the way down towards the license plate with sleek and sharp body lines, and then down below you can see all of your parking sensors, a quad dual exhaust system, and then gloss black for the diffuser with some sharp fins right in the center. So there's a full look at the 2022 CT4V Blackwing. This is an awesome car to take a look at, and I especially love the color. Very well worth it, having it in such a bright, bold color. Carbon fiber looks amazing. You really can't go wrong with the cool styling that Cadillac did. So we now have Cadillac's key fob. You can see the dark blue color actually matches the paint color on the calipers, which is a pretty cool touch. Then we get your normal buttons on the other side. If I go ahead and lock the car, I can double tap the engine start stop button. And that twin turbo V6 roars to life, has a pretty good rumble so far. Then by just pressing it once, we can let it automatically shut off. Then all I gotta do is grab the door handle. You can tap the little button, it'll unlock, and we can check out this really nice interior. This particular spec gets the natural interior with jet black leather accents. We get an upgraded set of bucket seats, carbon fiber and silver trim are also found throughout the interior. Moving to this door panel now, you can see the black leather up top with the white contrast stitching, then your aluminum release handle with a really cool contour to it, lock and unlock memory seating, and then part of the audio system. We even get black Alcantara in the center, and then the natural color leather for your armrest with all red stitching. We have our grab handle right here, window controls, mirror controls, and then you can see the trunk release button and a little bit of storage down below. And then moving inside, we get a massive V logo on this aluminum door sill, and then all of your power controls are on the left side of the seat. You can see the different buttons up front, as well as a lumbar support and massage feature in the back. I really love the black leather, and then you can see the white piping with all the red stitching. A very nice design for the perforations in the center. Then we get an adjustable leg rest up front for that added comfort. You do get pretty large bolsters in the bottom and on the back, and you can just get a really good idea of how nice these seats look. You can see more of the piping, got the V logo, and then some gloss black on the back. We even get the same natural color on the seat belts, and then spinning around to a black leather steering wheel with your red stripe up top, carbon fiber down below, and then even a V badge with your number. This is 41 of 151. And then now inside the CT4V, keep my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. This car gets a full 12-inch LCD digital display for the gauge cluster. All sorts of different configurations in this. You can see your tach over on the bottom with your speedometer right in the center. We can also configure the left and right side of the screen. You can use the dial on the right side of the steering wheel to go up, down, and select what you'd like. So from right here, you can scroll through and see a few different things that you would like to add over on this left side and mess around with it. You can also go over into some trip information. You can easily scroll down. Then you can go into performance. You can see some 0 to 60 times, lap timer. This does have the video system. Then you can go over into driver's assistance, see your distance pacing. Then we have radio icons that can come up, navigation, phone integration, maintenance, and all of that. And then into options with quite a few settings. This also has configurable drive modes. If you play with the button over on this right side, you can see where it says mode. It's going to change all the drive modes and the exhaust that you just heard. So if I go into the sport mode, you can see how the whole gauge cluster is going to change up to a little bit more performance oriented look. And then going into the track mode, it's going to get very performance oriented. You can see how we have a huge tachometer up top, and you can configure the different things you want over on this left side. And I also like with the heads-up display system, there's actually a button on the left side of the steering wheel with info, and you can actually adjust what you would like the heads-up display to look like. You have a massive tach, or you can make it a little bit more traditional. So then moving to the steering wheel now, we get some stitching and the Cadillac logo, then controls on the left for all the cruise control, voice commands, heated steering wheel, and the forward collision. We have a V mode icon you can tap, and that'll put you in a configurable mode where you can set up pretty much everything in the car for one touch. Over on the right side, we have more controls for Bluetooth and audio. And then we get a traction control icon down below. It's a toggle up and down. Very cool the way it looks. And then you can see up top with the performance traction, you can go into all different modes to really dial this car in for performance. We get a set of steering wheel mounted paddle shifters finished off in aluminum with a really nice look and feel. And then moving to the infotainment screen, this is pretty much what you're going to see on most of the Chevy and GM vehicles. You can scroll over, see your navigation, Apple CarPlay, Wi-Fi hotspot, Spotify, the track recorder system. You can also see the full climate screen that will come up. If I go ahead and put the car into reverse, the backup camera pops up. You can see all of your guidelines. And you can just tap the button back for park. Underneath the screen, you can see 2 of your air vents, and then all the climate control settings. You have physical ones along with the screen. I really like this whole aluminum strip. It kind of comes to a V, which is very fitting for the car. But you can see your toggles for your dual zone temperature control, fan speed up and down, all the different zones. You even have the AC, recirc, things like that. Heated and ventilated seats with more controls down below. We get the wireless phone charging mat, your shifter, and then right in the center we have another way to control the screen along with the radio controls for volume. We get 2 cup holders on the right and a lot of carbon fiber, then even a quick traction control button and an auto hold button. We have a slot right here for a cell phone, and then just opening up the center console now, we have a pretty good amount of storage space in here, even with some USB ports, and I like all the stitching and leather. And then over on the right side we have a pretty good sized glove box, and then one last look at the interior. Very sporty in here. I think the color looks fantastic. And then up top, this spec gets a full Alcantara roof. You can see it finished off in black. Then we get your frameless mirror and dome lights up front. And then in back, we get the same leather, stitching, piping, and then all the perforated leather for the left and right seat. This is a 3-seater back here, and I love at this angle, you can see the backs of these front seats. They are lined in full Alcantara, and you even get the V logo right in the center. We do get climate control vents, and then a plug down below. Sitting back here, my head is just barely touching the ceiling, and I do have plenty of knee room and leg room with the seat set at my height. Armrest is pretty good. It's a little bulky right here for visibility in the back, but you do get a pretty large side window, so it doesn't really feel claustrophobic or anything like that. And then right in the center, we can pull this down. We get a good extra armrest with 2 more cup holders, and then we get grab handles and lights up top. And then moving on to the trunk space, you can double tap the button on the key fob, use the one on the interior, or there is one on the lower side of the trunk. We can go ahead and pop that open. We have a pretty good opening here for larger items, and then it's pretty squared off, so you could definitely fit some luggage bags or other items. We get a little cubby over on the right side, and then a small cutout on the left side. And then after folding the seats down, you can see just how much more storage space you're going to get in the CT4. Moving through the side door, these rear seats fold nearly flat to make it very practical, and the opening to the back is actually pretty large, and then there's still room up in front behind the front seats. Alright guys, so we are now in the CT4V Blackwing. Let's test this out and see what it's like to drive. So starting off now just in the normal tour mode, automatic, kind of getting our bearings with it. As far as comfort, so these are in a pretty expensive upgraded seat option. They are awesome. I really like the way they look, especially there's a bunch of colors you can get, but they're really comfortable. They're a stiffer seat, which I personally really like in cars. I like the adjustable leg rest, and they just feel really, really nice to where your body is super supported. And I like how the controls on the left side of it, you can see it all on the screen when you adjust things. You can adjust all of the bolsters to make it tighter on your body depending on how large you are, and then with the massaging. It's really cool to see a bucket seat with all these features. So cruising in this now, we're in tour mode like I said, it's actually pretty comfortable. You can tell it's a stiffer car. I mean, this is a performance-focused vehicle, and yet it still is something you could daily drive. It's quiet enough, comfortable enough, roomy enough. I don't really have any complaints as far as like normal driving with a car like this. So with that said, let's have some fun on the back roads. So you just bump this back once and it puts you into manual mode. You can get a 6-speed, which is super cool to see. From there, we're gonna go into the sport mode. I like the gauge cluster configuration. Everything stiffens up a little bit, steering, suspension, throttle, braking, pretty much everything. We have 10 gears to go through, which is quite a lot for the paddle shifters, but let's see how all the ratios feel. So we're in 3rd gear. Wow. I like how those gears are actually actually kind of tall for being a 10-speed. It wasn't like redline shift. It was actually, I could use the gear. So that's something I really like. I'm not the biggest fan of higher gear transmissions. Other 10-speeds I'm not a big fan of, but this one I actually really like. The suspension is a lot stiffer. You can feel some of the bumps for sure. And the little extra exhaust note is a really good touch. Transmission is super snappy. Let's go into the track mode. Oh, that exhaust, I hope you guys can hear that. And then we will toggle our traction control, and we'll just go into the dry mode. So it's kind of cool how you get that on the steering wheel like that. So from here, let's feel out the handling. We'll go to third gear, or second gear actually. It's a pretty quick car. It's not the fastest accelerating. 470 horsepower is still a lot of power. It's not quite as fast as I expected, but it carries its weight really well. And the handling seems really sharp. The steering is much heavier now in track mode. It really does kind of shrink around you, and is just a fun to drive performance sedan. I honestly am becoming a pretty big fan of this car. Man, oh man. It really does carry the weight well, and with aftermarket modifications, as me being a tuner fan, I think you could easily tune this up a little bit, make it maybe like 550 to the wheel, something like that, at least 500 to the wheel. And I think that's where this would really rip. An extra 50 horsepower would be awesome. But the way it is stock, man, it carries its weight so well. The transmission, I'm not even using the top gears. I think they really did a good job making the gear ratios a lot taller. So I'm not even getting to 7th gear. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, you can play a lot with in the mountains, the tracks, and things like that. And that is a heck of a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and mess with the launch control. I'll put us back into automatic mode, and on the performance screen, I'll just go to where it says launch control. It tells you how much to hold the brake. Keeping it in all the same drive modes, press the brake really hard. Right, and we are up about 70 or so. It's a little chilly today, so not the best traction. It looks like 0 to 60, we're getting around mid-4s right now. All right, so we'll do launch control once again in the POV, same driving modes. All right, and there we go, up to speed. So it spins a little bit, but nonetheless, it seems to manage the traction actually really well. It doesn't just spin the tires. You can see the revs, how it really manages the traction. So I'm impressed with what it can do with the power and with the rear wheel drive. So now we're back into normal, put it into drive. So getting my bearings with the comfort, visibility in this car I think is pretty good. As you can see, we have a large windshield, and I love how you can see some of the sharp lines on the hood there, and mirrors all do a really good job, and there's not really crazy blind spots. It's a pretty practical car to use as your normal daily, and then using the interior while driving I find super easy. These are very simple to use, and there's not many buttons. This is very simple, which I think is a smart decision from Cadillac to make this simple and fun to drive. So let's go back into the fun modes. We will go right into track mode, and then from there, toggle the traction up to dry. I really do like the performance stuff. It's just really fun. So a few gears to go down. Oh man, the exhaust makes some pops and stuff. It certainly is a really, really cool car to drive. I just like the performance feeling you get, and it really is like a nimble, good driving car. I don't have many complaints. All right, one more acceleration. We'll get into second gear. Yeah, and the brakes. Oh man, those big old Brempos. So So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. Smash that subscribe button and stay tuned for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you guys in the next video.